This is how an ideal internship looks like. Getting the internship offer, performing very well during the internship, and getting a full-time job offer thereafter. But in reality, 90% of interns struggle to perform well during their internship and fail to be offered a job, although superior internship performance can be broken down to just 3 simple aspects. I have supervised dozens of interns over the past years and seen a few common mistakes why they have not been given a job offer at the end of their internship. Some interns might have only focused on one of the 3 areas and others might have missed out completely. But even if these things are very basic, such that every intern could apply them, only very few do so and end up as the top % performers with the job offer. Probably the biggest problem that you are having right now is to perform well enough in your internship. As simple as it sounds, as difficult it is, right? Simply since performance means something totally different to different people. Be it a marketing internship, a software development, or an engineering internship. All those professions require a different set of capabilities and knowledge. But does that mean that all those internships have completely different requirements and the companies need super specialized people to get the job done? Well, yes and no. Because the best interns are, of course, those who know their stuff, be it programming, market research, or whatsoever, but also know much more how to get along with people, engage with them and their responsibilities. So in order to be a top performing intern, you need to know your stuff, at least to whatever degree is expected from an intern, as well as you need to take care of the other parts of the formula. Since you might be wondering what those parts are, let me reveal the first one to you, which is probably the most important one. It's being proactive. For superior internship performance, you have to understand that a professional environment is different to school or university, where you have been told what to do, which assignments to make, and which classes to take. And that's what's holding most interns back. They are just not proactive or even demanding enough. Yes, you've heard correctly. You as an intern can be demanding. I mean, they have hired you in the first place to gain experience and learn. Even Google says that the position of a student or trainee is someone who works in an organization sometimes without pay in order to gain work experience or satisfy requirements for a qualification. Of course, you learn by doing a lot of stuff and taking on smaller or bigger tasks, but you learn even more by reaching out to others and ask questions. So asking many smart and challenging questions can set yourself apart from your peers, because asking questions shows your supervisor and colleagues that you are interested in the topics, the company, and generally what's going on. That's why everyone will appreciate your interest and find your curiosity a good sign. Also, don't think that you as an intern should just be listening and executing. No, you should also listen actively and speak out if you do not understand what's being said. The good thing is that you are new to the company and cannot understand, for example, all the abbreviations that are being used. So it's your right and duty to ask. I mean, if you were an employer, who would you rather hire? Someone who asks a lot of smart questions and learns something new, or someone who is just staying silent and does not really evolve over a few months? But being proactive does not start or stop with just asking questions. Imagine there is nothing to ask and everything is super clear, which will never be the case. But what do you do then? Being proactive can also mean to request time and feedback from your manager. So you shouldn't just let your internship pass, but you should proactively ask for a dedicated time to speak about your tasks and development. Many interns think that it's entirely their supervisor's task to reach out and check in on current to-dos, but it's not. It's at least as much the intern's responsibility to approach the supervisor and get time in their calendar that they can spend with you. I can only stress the importance of asking your manager for feedback, time, and their preferences of setting up those sessions more formally via meeting or rather having them casually on the spot. This will show them your interest in getting their opinion, guidance, and your willingness to work on yourself. But there is more to being proactive. You can also reach out to your team members and colleagues from other departments that you might be working with. Ask them if they would be open for a coffee, lunch, or a casual catch-up where you can learn about their job. Most likely, they will appreciate your interest in getting to know them and their work better. But all the proactivity would be nothing without enough ownership. Taking ownership simply means taking initiative and having a sense of responsibility and accountability for certain tasks. This is what all successful interns, professionals, or even executives do. They own certain activities, projects, or even performance of whole departments. And the result of proactively taking ownership is being recognized as someone with a hands-on, can-do mentality, someone who embraces topics and wants to move them forward. For example, if you are doing a sales internship and are given the task to analyze certain markets by their size, total sales volume, and profit over the last 12 months, because this analysis will be used in a presentation for a bigger sales performance meeting. An intern without ownership would have done the analysis and sent it to the manager. Assuming the analysis was done right, this would have been a satisfactory job. But if you want to stand out and show ownership, you could have done the following. First, of course, doing the analysis right. Then, looking at the available data and asking yourself which other insightful analysis could be done. For example, not only looking at total sales, but also at different product categories and their sales by region. Having done the initial as well as the additional analyses, you could have put them into a presentable format, for example, in a PowerPoint, and sent the final result to your manager. This is just one example of showing ownership, but in general, it's about your willingness to drive tasks and further develop them without anyone telling you what to do. But taking ownership and being proactive might still leave you without a job offer because you did not appear professional enough. A professional appearance does not only has to do something with how you dress, but it's about much more. Let me show you in a few examples. All things equal, which intern would you rather offer a job at the end of their internship? This guy or the other? Which person would you rather employ? Again, all things equal. The person writing you such an email? Hi, all good? Attached are the slides I've been working on. Please check them out, but I trust they're good. Cheers, John. Or would you rather hire someone writing you this email after a 6-month internship? Dear Leah, I hope this finds you well. Please find attached the latest version of the client presentation. I kindly ask you to review the slides and get back to me with any feedback or comments by the end of the week. Let me know if there are any questions in the meantime. Thanks and regards, John. And finally, who would you as a manager rather employ after an internship, assuming you're working in a bank with quite a formal dress code? This person or rather this person? Well, all those examples tell us about your attitude towards the internship and the company. Example number 1 tells us if you're having the right working attitude, if you're engaged, curious, and exciting about the topic, or rather indifferent or bored. Example 2 tells us something about the respect towards your colleagues, the level of self-reflection, and the level of your professional attitude. And finally, example 3 shows us if you're embracing the company culture, if you're willing to collaborate and feel comfortable in this environment. Now you might think that you need to be perfect and deliver on all those different areas here. That's certainly not true. Don't forget that you're an intern who is still there to gain work experience. You do not need to know everything, ask at least 10 smart questions every day, have 2 coffee catch-ups with colleagues, and dress perfectly. But what you need to do is to gain an understanding for the environment that you're working in, and the people, the organization, and atmosphere. Try to understand which of these aspects your manager and colleagues will value more than others. Maybe even by just asking them, and focus on those aspects. At the same time, do not neglect the other aspects and cover them at least to a certain basic, such that you have delivered the minimum for superior internship performance. If you're looking at other ways to level up your performance, watch this video next.